What does that mean for us? What kind of implications does your research have for us living in the modern day?
Well, that's a very good question. I think one thing it tells us is that it's hard to be human. It's hard to be human and not transform the landscape. I mean, it really is impossible to not leave a mark. Everything we do leaves some kind of mark. Of course, on the other hand, we have to realize that certain kinds of activities leave a much greater mark, and certain kinds of practices are much less sustainable over time. Widespread, clear cutting of forests and in hilly landscapes where the soils are thin are clearly, practices that, leave a very serious mark on the landscape. The other story is that humans, I guess the more positive story is that humans have adapted to climate change and environmental changes in all kinds of different ways in the past, and certainly we see this in the Iberian Peninsula during this time period. At the end of the 3rd millennium BC, at around 2200 BCE, we detect an important climate event, a period of aridity, dryness, and this seems to have impacted the entire Iberian Peninsula as well as many other regions of the world. And what we can see as archaeologists that different regions and different communities responded in different kinds of ways. So there's no one-to-one correlation always, or no not necessarily predictable responses that people have made in the past. And maybe that's the secret to our success, is that we have different ways of dealing with environmental change and different kinds of approaches to environments, and that's perhaps maybe the takeaway lesson that we should be thinking about.
So speaking of takeaways, what would you like people to get out of this website, and how would you like them to use it?
Well, I hope that this I hope that this website, which is a kind of landscape, will serve as a kind of window into the kind of work that some archaeologists do. And of course, there are thousands of archaeologists out there all doing different kinds of work, but it will provide, I think, an insight into how archaeologists do the work that they do and how they know what they know, how their work contributes to our understanding of the human condition. How do we use this knowledge of the past, of people living 4,000, 5,000 years ago, to gain insights into what we're seeing today and where we might want to be going into the future. And maybe it might interest a budding archaeologist out there too. Somebody might say, well, I've always been interested in environmental studies or biology, but I'm also interested in history and the past, and I've never been able to figure out a way to put it together. Well, archaeology is a really good way to put it all together, actually.
And how can someone get involved in archaeology and become a professional archaeologist, such as yourself? One more time.
Well, to be an archaeologist, let's just say to get involved in archaeology, there are many ways to go about it. You can obviously take classes if you're a college student. If you're not in college, or you're out of college, you can go and visit archaeological sites, which are located basically everywhere in the world. You can participate on an excavation, which is a really good way to get hands-on experience and a really good way to get a sense of what it's really like to collect this knowledge that we interpret. And there are many sources available through the Archaeological Institute of America website, which we can provide on the website as well. You can visit, if there's a college or university in your area, just email a professor there and ask if you can talk to them about their work and maybe get involved in their research. There are many avenues that are available to people nowadays to kind of access this information.
Excellent. Well, those are all the questions that I have. Is there anything you'd like to say before we sign off?
Well, I hope this has been useful and interesting, and if you have any questions for me or for Luke, certainly send us an email and we'll be happy to try to answer your questions.
Thank you very much. We hope you have enjoyed this video, and will enjoy this website.